Hello everyone, Caroline here. I hope you are having a great summer so far. And today I want to share 5 cards that I created with this paper block from Deco Time. This comes from the Action Store. This block has 30 pages, pattern papers and die cuts. So let's get started with card number 1. For my first card, I'm using a standard card base in kind of a beigey orangey color. Then I have this white background that I created with an embossing folder from Dari's. And then I have this Daisy May die and I created this frame. I have a bunch of die cuts here, and I also have a sentiment that I stamped out using this stamp set here from Creative Depot. And I used yellow ink to stamp it out. Now I'm gonna make my background here a little bit smaller on the side, and I'm used the Tim Holtz deckled edge trimmer. I also have all those metallic watercolors that I bought on my visit to Germany from the Action Store, and I decided to use one of the sets here that has this yellowy, orangey bronze tone, and I'm just gonna sprinkle some of the color on top of my white embossed background here, just to give it a little bit more texture. And then I put it aside, let it dry. And I'm working on this frame. I want to do a shaker card. So I'm gonna just have a mix here that I created myself with all those different sequins I have. And I have a piece here of acetate that I'm just cutting to size. And that I will use for my shaker card or shaker part. Now I'm first attaching my acetate. And this acetate has on both sides this film that I'm going to keep on until I really use it, so it doesn't get dirty. And then I'm just gluing this flat onto my frame here, so it gives me the top part. And then I will use my background here, and I'm going to use my heating tool just to make sure it's all dry. And you can see how nice and sparkly that metallic color is. I will attach this now to my card base here. And as you see on the side, I still have the card base showing off and framing my background. Now I'm using my frame and I'm trying to figure out where I want to place it. I want to offset it a little bit, I don't want to put it straight on the card, and I'm doubling up my foam tape here, and this is a foam tape that is an 1/8 of an inch wide, and this is perfect for shaker cards. And then I look how I'm gonna place this, and then I'm adding my sequins carefully, and then I'm adding my shaker frame on top. What you didn't see me do here you can see I actually add some powder to the side of the foam tape, so the sequins will not stick to my frame. And then I make this all a little flat, and then I'm adding my frame here. There. And here's my shaker card my shaker piece finished. Now I'm decorating the rest of the card. I'm using my sentiments, and then I'm using this little lemons and the little lemonade cup here or glass, and I just use my tape here and add this flat onto my shaker element, And then I'm adding also my lemons. One goes behind the glass a little bit, and then the other one on top. And then I'm just adding all those little bits and pieces, slices, and then this little peach in the back, and glue this on with liquid glue here, and make sure everything is nice and glued on. And here is the finished card. Okay, here comes the second card. Now for this card, I use a craft card base, having cut this paper piece and use an edge die from Elizabeth's Craft design. And then I also have this die cut piece with this girl hugging the world. And then I have those two stamp sets here from Action, and I want to create a background with those. So I'm using all those stamps images, or stamped, and then also this stripes that looks like a stamped if you will. And then I'm just randomly around. I want to create kind of a frame around the girl. So I'm taking the girl and put it kind of in the center and see where I'm gonna place all my stems. And I am using kind of a beigey color here. So I don't want those stems to overwhelm. I want them still kind of be in the background. Then I'm using this stripes here, this wavy stripes, and then I'm just add them on top of the stems. And I also do that with the bigger ones. And I'm adding this as well. Now I'm using one of those blending tools that I was also bought those at Action, and it's kind of like a foamy rounded topper and then a plastic handle. And I must say they work really well for me. I'm not sure how that hold up when you make an inked background, but so far I'm pretty pleased with this blending tool. Now I'm using my little finger dauber here. I'm adding some vintage photo and a walnut stain around the edge of this, and then to match a little bit the card base, and then I'm glue this on to my card base and have this aligned to the right side. And then I'm using my girl here, and I'm adding this with foam tape to the top. And then I decided to use this Explore stamp that is on that set. And I inked this up with my Fine in this dark brown color. And I also use a sentiment from the Tim Holtz Tiny Words, which says, "See the world." There we go. And then for my final touch here, I'm using my glitter drops from Nuvo, and here is the finished card. Card 3. Okay, for my next card, this is gonna be a smaller square card. I cut myself a piece of pattern paper here, and again I use my Tim Holtz Deckled Edge Trimmer. And then I use this cutting die also from Action, and I cut out the frame and also a couple of flowers that is in that die set with different pattern paper. Now for my frame, I used the inside, and then I turned over the piece that was, like the inside of that frame, and I will use it for my inside. As you will see in a moment, first I'm attaching my background, now I'm attaching my frame, and again I'm using my 1-inch foam tape here. This comes very handy on stuff like this, and if you're wondering where I get this on Amazon. Very affordable, and that's actually Amazon US. It's not the German website, but I might have it also there. So here I'm attaching my frame now, so I want this to stick up a little bit, so I'm getting kind of like a drop shadow automatically behind that frame. Trying to get that straight on here. Here we go. And then I'm using the inside piece here, and I'm glue this flat inside that frame. And then I'm using my die cuts here that I got from the block. This little wreath. And I'm adding that on top with foam tape. And then I'm arranging my flowers around here, and also that little girl that holds a little plant. And I'm attaching my thank you sentiment that's also from the die cuts. And then I'm filling my holes here from the flowers. I fill them with Nuvo drops, and these are the kind of pearly iridescent ones in lemon twist. That's the color, and here's my finished card. Card 4. Okay, for my next card here, I cut out this background from pattern paper with my nested dynamics die from the biggest of that die set, and then I have this bird that came on one of the cards, and I just fussy cut that one out, and have also that frame and this piece of flowers. And this is going to be a very simple card with not a lot of elements. And then I'm using from that same stem set that I used earlier from a Creative Depot. And this one says, "Oh, happy day." And I'm just going to stamp this out on a piece of white cardstock in black. And then I'm fussy cut this kind of around, and this will gonna, and then also went around with my blending tool, so it has a little brown edge. Now here I'm using this other set from the watercolors, and if you're in Germany and you get a hold of those watercolors, you should get them because they are literally amazing. I don't own any other metallic watercolors because these are just great. They are so creamy. I'm just amazed that they have this quality. So here I'm adding some little splatters on that background, and then also on that little piece here. And then I'm creating set my card together. First I glue on my background here. And my card piece is green, so this has a nice contrast with the black, and then with those colors pick up the greens from the pieces here. My frame I'm gonna attach with foam tape so it has a little lift to it. Here we go. right in the middle. And then I'm adding my other piece behind it. And I'm adding my little birdie, and the birdie again I'm attaching this with foam tape so it lifts up. And then I'm attaching my sentiment, and I'm attaching it so the little bird is literally standing, is grounded on that sentiment. Here we go. And then I have those three, I picked out those three Nouveau drops here. And before, I haven't used them in a while, and before I'm going directly on my card, I'm just testing them out on a piece of scrap paper to avoid any unwanted air bubbles. And I'm doing that with all three colors, and I think they matched perfectly. And here's the finished card. Card 5. Okay, for my last card, I'm just gonna be again a little square card. I think it's like about 4 inches. And now I'm adding my background piece, which is just a piece of black cardstock that I cut a little bit smaller. And then I'm adding a piece of another piece of pattern paper, and again I'm just going around the edge a little bit to give it a kind of like a darker frame outside. And then I will add this as well, just with liquid glue. And I cut this again just a tiny bit smaller. And then I'm using the next piece that I used again, the Daisy May die on, that square, and lift this up with foam tape. And then I have those, they're like blobs or like, like colored blobs die cuts. And I just thought I'm gonna use them to decorate the background, to take a little bit away from the busyness of that pattern paper. And I also have this little bird here sitting on that branch, and I'm going around that bird with some green color just to, you know, take away that white or darken that white frame around the die cut. And then I'm using this stamper set here from Creative Depot that my sister actually gave me. She actually is so amazing. She gave me a lot of German stamps that I don't get a hold of here in the US. So this stamper set is amazing. It has so many great sentiments that are in German. So alles Liebe means all love, and I'm gonna use this for my sentiment here. And here we go, I'm adding my bird, and I again lift this up, this bird, so it gets like a natural drop shadow. And I'm adding the other piece here, and I have like this little leaf that I'm adding. Here's that other piece, and that will actually hold my sentiment. Let's lift this up so it can sit right beneath this leaf. And here we go. My final touch, again, my Nouveau drops, and also I'm using this glaze, Nouveau glaze, and I'm going over the lemons just to give them a little shiny touch. And here is my finished card. So here are all my cards again. Here's the shaker card. I hope you liked this video and hope you got some inspiration out of it. As usual, you can just use what you have in your stash and make it work. And I hope I see you in my next video. Bye.